What's guys? Today is part 2 of the racer thingy whatever game. Yeah. Today we're gonna do checkpoints and edit a few things so it's a bit more realistic and everything. So like the first thing what we're gonna do is actually we don't need the green flag, and we can make it start at the same time better with the message broadcast of new race. So new race, there you go. When green flag is clicked, broadcast new race, and then when green flag is clicked, new race, and we'll actually wait 0 seconds before we go to the front layer. And then one realistic part, you don't really turn in a spot in a real life. You actually have to be moving to turn. So yeah, I'm gonna implement that by going get the control, get an if statement, and surround that block like that, and get an OR from the operator and get 2 not blocks and put it in both of these. So now what you're going to do is get an equal sign from the operators, and you're going to go to variables, get an x velocity and a y velocity block, and then you can input 0 and 0 in there. And now if you run the project, you'll see that you can't turn when you're not moving, and when you are moving you can turn. So that is one realistic part. And then now what you're going to do is actually move on to the checkpoint stuff now. And to do so, you're going to have to create a new sprite, name it checkpoints. And then what you're going to do is create 2 costumes. Number 1 is going to be the checkpoint itself, and that's just going to be a dot, doesn't matter the size. Or actually, but it's going to be easier to actually do this if the size is big, so I think I want to make it big actually. So just make it big, make it noticeable, that's what you want to do. And then now what you're going to do is create a new sprite, and then I'm quickly going to draw this and come back because this might take some time. Not really, but I'll just quickly draw this and come back. There you go, starting line. This is what you want to draw. Vertically or angled or horizontally, doesn't matter. Mine's going to be vertical because when we start in this position, and it should be somewhere around here vertically. So that looks good to me. And now the code is actually, it might be longer than the car's code, and I think it is, so we got to get into it. So when I receive a new race, we're going to hide for the first one, and then yeah. And then we're gonna use clones. So let's actually start this one first. When I start as a clone, when I start as a clone, we're gonna show, and then we're gonna clear our graphic effects. We want no thingy like that. Go to the front layer, and then what you're gonna do is actually create a new variable, name it ID, for this sprite only. And then actually let's create rest of the variables you need for this sprite. You're going to need my x for this sprite only, and my y for this sprite only, and then a checkpoint number for all sprites, and a lap for all sprites, and old checkpoint touched for all sprites, and I think that should be good. So let's hide all of that for now, and we can go to the controls, get an if else statement, and then if equals clone, I mean just ID, ID equals 0, we're gonna switch our costume to the starting line, else we're gonna switch our costume to the checkpoint. And then what you're gonna do is go to the controls, get a forever loop, and you can make the checkpoint just a huge dot like me. It's gonna be a lot less of work. And what you're gonna do now is forever get a if else statement. If else, oh my god, duplicate this, put it in here. If else, what you're gonna do is set size to and set size to. I'm gonna set size to 400% and 1000%. Or actually, why am I doing that? Just 1000%. There you go. just do 1000% and go to motion, get a go to block, and then go to operators, get a subtract, and then you can duplicate that. Go to variables, fill this in with scroll x, scroll y, my x, and my y. And then we can set size back to 100. There you go. Cool, so that is all for that one, but we need another huge one. So what you're going to do now is go to controls, get a when I start as a clone forever, and let's see, if else, and then we need the if id equals 0. So if it does equal 0, what we're going to do is if touching the car, there you go, and if operators less than checkpoints is greater than, actually, and then we're gonna put a comment saying check later because we can't fill it in right now, you never know. And then what you're gonna do is set checkpoint number to 0, and then set old checkpoint touched to 0, and then change a lap by 1. So this indicates that you have finished a lap, and that's a good thing, pretty sure. Yeah. And then we can wait until we're not touching the car anymore until you can start redetecting. So now that's all done, we can move on to the if it's not id is equal to 0. Now the only thing that id equals to 0 is the starting line, so it's like, yeah. And the else, what you're gonna do is a bit more complicated, but not too much. We can get an if, go to operators, get less than. So if the value is less than 200, let's say, and then we can go to get an addition block, and what now you're gonna do is get the absolute value block and absolute value block. Yeah, we're gonna put it in both of those and get a subtraction block for both, like that. And you're gonna get scroll x, scroll y, like that, and my x and my y. So this sees if the distance to the car is less than 200, which we need to detect for it to, if the player came near to the checkpoint and actually went through the entire track. The checkpoints are going to be in the middle of the road, invisible. But currently we're not going to make it invisible, so we can see if it's in the right place, in the place we want. So now what you're going to do is go to check control, get an if statement. If get a less than. If ID is less than the old checkpoint touched, because you can technically go backwards, and we sort of don't want that. We're actually, yeah, we actually need that because you can technically touch just a single checkpoint, go back if this is nothing. So we can now check that, and then change our checkpoint number by 1 and set our old checkpoint touched to our own ID. And then now what you're going to do is go to control, get a wait until block, put it outside this if block. If not, wait until not this is true, so you can do that. So that is basically for the when I start as a clone, but we never created a clone yet, so now we're going to make that code. So this is the complicated part, and actually before we do, we can set these. You can set our checkpoint number to a big value like 100. You're never going to have more than 100 checkpoints, so 100 is safe. If you do have more than 100 checkpoints, you have way too many checkpoints, or your track is way too long. Just saying. It's my opinion. You can, yeah. Set old checkpoint touch to 0, and then we can set our lap to 0. Now you can go to my blocks, create a block. We can do create checkpoint, like that. We need 3 inputs, X, Y, and ID. No. Type. You know what? Let's just say ID. It's a lot easier like that. ID and create checkpoint 0, and then let's actually start and go to variables, show the scroll X and scroll Y like that. and then with your car, go a bit front, and then yeah, this is approximately where you want to put yours. So 500 and -110. So now if we go, yeah, we never filled this out actually. I'm so dumb. Set ID to ID. Set my X, my Y to X and Y, obviously, and create a clone of myself. Like that. So now if we go, oof, okay. Let's see. I think there shouldn't be. I don't think there should be any problems actually. Or it's just that we put it in the wrong position or something. Let's see. Yeah, I think I put it in the wrong position. If I quickly go looking for it, oh no. So let's go to the the 500 -1000, somewhere like that. Oh no, this is why. Okay, there you go. Now it should be there. Yeah, there you go. But now this isn't where we want it, so now what you can do is go a bit more front like that, and then approximately here is where you really want it. So 425, see the X, I'm putting in here the X, and -1090, like that. And now you see it right there. But maybe you want it a bit closer to you, so I'll do 450. And that's perfect. This is basically how you will create your checkpoints. So what I'm going to do is go to my track and go to the costumes, get the brush tool, and then get approximately where your starting point is, which is right there. I'm being very lucky. So that's our starting point. And then we want our first checkpoint approximately here, here, and here. So you want to mark out your checkpoint locations. So one here, and one here, one here. My track is really long, so I'm going to have a lot of checkpoints, but yeah, so you can mark it out like that. It's going to help you out. I want one here, here, here. You're going to have to go through every single one of these checkpoints to actually complete a lap. So now what I'm going to do is restart the project. So now you're going to start creating the checkpoints. So you can go to our this first purple dot, which is right here, and then you're gonna want to stand on it, like there you go. This is good. So now what you're gonna do is you get these positions. You can duplicate this, change the add one to the ID, and you can get the values correct like that. And then now if you go to that purple dot, you're gonna see a huge purple dot, which signals that our thingy is created. But we don't want it to show like that in the middle of the game, so what you're gonna do is set ghost effect to 50 for now. We're gonna change it to 100 later when we see that all the checkpoints are successfully created. Yeah. So now you can see one checkpoint is created, and then you're gonna repeat this process by going to the next dot, standing on it, like this. And you can go back up here and then create another one of these, and ID2 -555 and -1270, and you're going to repeat this process until you have none left. So I'm going to go to the next one. So I'll see you after I do all of mine, and you can do all yours. Pause the video for a second. Okay, so I have finished mine and it looks like I did 12. So there's 12 checkpoints, not including the start point. If you include the starting point, there's 13 for me. So now that there's 12, what you're going to put in for this, the check later thing, is 1 less 11. That's what you're going to do. So if you have 13 checkpoints, you're going to put 12. If you have 10 checkpoints, you're going to put 9, and it goes on. You can hide the scroll X and Y now. And you can go back to your track, go to costumes, and delete your purple dots. So, oh, actually, before that, I'm sorry. Let's go to the thingy and then check if it's in the right position. So, the first one we checked together, it's in the right position, and then the second one, let's see if it's in the right position. Yes, it is. The third one, it should be, yeah. So that's right. The fourth one should be around here. That's also right. So all my checkpoints are looking good. There we go. All looking good. And let's quickly go through the thingy and see if I have all of it. So it seems like mine is all properly created, which I like that. So now what you can do is go to your tracks, costume, and delete all of your purple dots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So now, finally, we're done with that. So if we go to turn on the laps, and you can put it on your left top corner for today, and you see that you have 0, and then when you start like that, you get lap 1. And actually, the better way I can show this to you guys is get the checkpoint number variable shown like that. And then you can put that right under your lap. And then now currently it's 100, but when you touch it, it should turn to 0. And then when we go near our first checkpoint, it should turn to 1 and 1 only. Oh wait, did I mess it up? Okay, the old checkpoint touched is 0, so that's working fine. Oh no, that shouldn't be X velocity and Y velocity. It should be my Y and my X. Sorry about that, guys. Now if we change to that and restart the project, it should turn into 1 when we go near it. There you go. Turns into 1, and old checkpoint touch and checkpoint number both turns into 1, which makes sense because you touched the checkpoint that has the ID of 1, so old checkpoint touched turns to 1. The checkpoint number turns to 1 since we touched 1. And both should turn 2. Like, both should be added 1 each time. So, yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, that's looking good. Oh, because of that, actually, what we can do is change this to checkpoint a number, and then we can get rid of this, and we can get rid of this. And then now you can delete your old checkpoint touched, and it should still work the exact same. I don't know why I didn't notice that when I was making it, but now I do, so you don't need that. So now I'm quickly gonna go around the thing once, and then see if our lap counter goes up by 1. It seems like our checkpoint number is increasing steadily with no problems. Yeah, my track is very long. So there you go. I am finally there you go, lap 2, and our checkpoint number resets. So that signals that it's working very, very fine. And I think that is going to be it for today's episode. So if you enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe and like button. If you didn't, hit that subscribe and like button. If you don't get what I mean, just hit that subscribe and like button because it helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next episode of the racing game thingy, whatever. Where's the Y? Where'd the Y go? Or was there no Y in the first place? I'll just go racer thingy, whatever. Yeah. It's the perfect name. I think I should actually name it this that way. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next episode, and peace.